This episode has been brought to you from the DGMS Studios, home of Don't Get Me Started, Lethal and Mully Live and Surftown. Found at Spotify, Amazon, Apple Music and wherever you listen to your podcast. Hello and welcome to Don't Get Me Started. It's the mother of all podcasts with Keith and Lee. Hi, I'm Lee.
And I'm Keith.
Keith, how are you today, mate? How's your week been?
It's been very good. It's been a mixed bag, a bit of this, bit of that, and some serious, some frivolous, and some boring, some exciting, and some illuminating.
Gee whiz, mate, a mixed bag.
Yes, it has been.
It's been up and down.
And some of it has been exhilarating.
Well, you look well.
Thank you, and you're looking pretty sharp.
Oh, thanks, mate.
Had a nice shave. What's going on?
Oh, I tried to grow it, but it's just itching. Way too much. And there is a term for it, and I must look it up. But I remember talking to another guy. He goes, I can't just grow a beard because it's infuriating because of the itching. And it is. It's infuriating. But anyway, I've got it all shaved off. I feel like I'm 61 now instead of 62.
Are you that old? I thought you were I thought you were 68.
I'm long gone. Now, this Easter holiday, we've got school holidays as well. Noosa's just covered with 12-year-olds on e-bikes or they're racing around the place. What does Easter mean for you, Keith?
Rest, yes. You know, I have a curious relationship with my Christianity religion because sometimes I do not feel any deep spiritual move upon me. But then again, I look at the words, the teachings, you know, like the Ten Commandments, the Golden Rule, and they make sense. They're it's a good guide to live by. So, you know, I kind of swing backwards and forwards and sin, and then I'm a saint, and then I sin again, and I love sinning, and then I think I shouldn't, so I better be a saint, and, you know, all that sort of stuff. And, of course, you wouldn't be like that, Lee, would you?
No, well, I always love Easter, not because of anything religious, because of the eggs, the Easter eggs. So I'm a chocolate-holic, so I love that. But it does signify the resurrection of Christ, as you were saying, over 3 days, rose from the dead. And the egg, you know why they celebrate the egg as well?
I believe it's to do with fertility from some of the ancient cults that were associated with the earth. Is that correct?
Yeah, like rebirth.
Yeah.
So it's always been sort of wrapped around that egg, which I've loved.
Yes. Well, hang on to that thought for a minute. I'm just thinking, you know, why do I have a little bit of trouble with Christianity? And one of the reasons is I was brought up in a very austere Presbyterian. And when you go to your Sunday church back in those days, because a lot of it's faded out now, all you had to do is just sit there and listen and get up and sing these old hymns. And there was no real ritual about it, no sort of ceremony. And I think that's one of the appeals for some other religions. I really don't know, like the Catholics. They've got their robes, their bells, their smells. They have some ceremony about it. Nor did the Presbyterians celebrate festivals like Easter. There was no preparation with fasting. There was no preparation in terms of cultural practices that were associated with it. There was nothing special other than the bunny, the Easter eggs, and a couple of days off from work. You know, there's no real sort of cultural deep ceremony there that you can attach yourself to.
I brought my children up on that. So we went to church, we did all the Good Friday to the Easter Monday, and it's a lovely holiday. And now with the grandchildren, not so much. Now our children bring up their children differently to the way that we brought them up. But I still have fun with the grandchildren of making out that the bunny came.
Yeah, well, it can be a great family time, of course.
It's a good time.
And I guess it's like a lot of things, it's what you want to make it. You can just take it as, I said, oh, great, no work, I can rest. Or, you know, you can make it religious if you like, or you can make it family orientated with your own family traditions. You don't need to rely on culture or a religion for traditions. You can create your own.
Now, am I right by saying in Australia that Good Friday, the bottle shops are shut? Is that correct?
Oh, I don't know about that, Lee. Geez, that'd be a travesty.
I'm sure it's Good Friday that they close. That you can go out and have something to eat and have a drink at the restaurant, but you can't buy alcohol. All the bottle shops are shut.
Well, I don't know about that.
I'd have to check that out.
Yeah, I'll have to check it out.
Not that I'm not bothered by that, but I just had a thought. I think, because I remember getting a phone call many, many years ago from an old mate going, "Hey, Lee, have you got any beers at home?" And I said, yeah, why? He said, "Oh, I'm out." I said, "Well, go buy some." He goes, "No, they're shut." I gone, "What?" So he came round and stole a couple of six-packs.
Did he? The bugger.
Yeah, he's a bugger.
Did he reciprocate later on?
No.
That was it.
That was it. End of. Anyway, he's long gone, but good on you, Neil. Hope you're doing well up there. You, Mully, do you enjoy a chocolate egg?
Oh, yeah. I enjoy
Cadbury's cream egg? You heard of those Cadbury's cream eggs?
No, I don't.
You don't? You never had a Cadbury's cream egg?
No, I don't. You must enlighten me.
Well, let's say an egg, obviously chocolate egg, but inside it has this gooey white.
Yeah, they're great.
They're unreal.
Yeah.
And they get smaller and smaller every year, though.
Asking me that question, do I enjoy chocolate at Easter? I'm thinking I actually enjoy all of it. I enjoy the rest that we don't work. I enjoy chocolate. I enjoy a little bit of religion. I enjoy having a drink and a beer or a wine. Or
Happy days.
Yeah, no, bring it on. Even the football.
Oh, the Good Friday game.
Yeah.
Who's playing this year, do you know?
No, I don't. I have to. Well, I better check that out.
Check it out.
But it'll be a blockbuster for sure at the mighty MCG. Because when we're talking about football with me, it's Aussie rules, isn't it?
It is.
But I'll tell you something else I have on my mind, Lee. It's been a while since we've opened with a joke. So I have a couple.
You have?
Yeah.
Oh, good on you, Molly. Let's go.
And I really like courtroom jokes because apparently they're real. And it really highlights how stupid some prosecutors are. So they're short, but they're sweet. How about this? I have two.
Okay.
So the solicitor, the barrister, or the Queen's Counsel, or whatever that person is who's supposedly interrogating the person who's accused, says, "The truth of the matter is that you are not an unbiased, objective witness, isn't it? You too were shot in the fracas." "No, sir. I was shot midway between the fracas and the navel." Halfway between the fracas and the navel.
The fracas.
Which I'm assuming he's probably thinking this is his arse. And this one.
So where are these from, though? The UK, Europe, America? Or
it doesn't say.
Doesn't say.
I don't have a high opinion of American law, so I'm assuming that it's probably American lawyers. Anyway, God, I better not say too much about America because if I ever decide to go and visit, they might not let me in.
No, they might ship you off to El Salvador, mate.
Oh, Greenland.
Yeah, or Greenland, yeah. They want to invade it, and Panama.
Or Mexico or Canada, they're new states.
They just put another tariff on you.
I've got a book at home called How to Hide an Empire. And America famously bases itself on being a republic. But since World War II, it's been so involved internationally across the globe.
Do you want to say that again?
I love it. There's got to be a dumb term for that. Anyway, I'll own it without the dumb term. They've been so involved internationally in other people's countries. They've got like Guam, Philippines, Puerto Rico, South Korea, Okinawa, southern Japan. They've got military bases in Europe, Central Asia, all those sort of places. That it's an empire, but it doesn't call itself an empire. How did we get onto this, Lee?
Oh, the jokes of the lawyers. I said, where did it come from?
America is this weird country, and I think as it is today in 2025, getting weirder by the week. Anyway, here's the third joke.
The third? Second?
Second.
Did I miss one?
Apparently I did. I'm doing well today, aren't I? Right, this one's very short. The prosecutor says, "What is the date of your birth?" "July 15th. "Which year?" "Every year."
No, I like that one.
What about this one? A guy was involved in an accident, a car accident. "What gear were you in at the moment of the impact?"
I know.
Gucci sweats and Reeboks.
Yeah. Yeah. There is a podcast out there, and I think it's called How to Kill an Hour. And there's two guys that just tells jokes, and some of them very, very funny. Very funny.
If these are real, and I think I might have rolled this one out before. Oh. What was the first thing your husband said to you when he woke up that morning because she's going in for a divorce? And he said, "Oh, where am I, Kathy?" "And why did that upset you?" "My name is Susan."
Yeah, that's
So the reason I like us to start with a joke is that stops you saying something derogatory about my good nature or character.
Well, I say it halfway through or at the end. So unless you're prepared for it, they were the old times, Molly. This is new time. Now, I don't regret doing that. Now, that will lead us into what our topic is, Molly.
Yes, I've been thinking a topic that we could talk about, which I think would be pretty interesting. What do we regret the most? Our ex, the exes in our lives, or tattoos?
Right.
Bad exes or bad tattoos?
But could there be more, not just those two?
Mate, there could be a stack of them. But there's a similarity to me in both of them because sometimes when you got an ex, you've had a hell of an experience with them. That's good or bad. And mainly if it becomes an ex or she or he becomes an ex, there's probably a bad experience, which stays with you in terms of the consequences because of. And it's the same with the tattoo. Think, oh, man, I'm going to get it cool, or it's reflecting a thought or something that I'm in at the moment, and you put it on, but your life changes, circumstances changes, probably is sometimes as quick as 6 months, and you've got this rotten tattoo, and you've got to live with the thing. And Jimmy Buffett famously saying it's a permanent reminder of a temporary feeling.
Yeah. I'll get onto tattoos in a moment. I'm not so much with the exes because I got married pretty early in life. But regret is like a feeling of disappointment or remorse over past actions or choices, often accompanied by a desire for things to have been different.
Oh, let's apply that to your ex.
So we can all say this. I think we carry regret around like in our pockets that when we come across something, it initiates a thought of regret. Now, regret, I think you could scrub it out. I don't think it really needs to be part of who you are or your armory or something that you can go, I regret that. I wish I'd have done something different. It's like the if, buts and maybes and shoulda, woulda, couldas. It doesn't exist to me. Regret, I think it's a word that doesn't make you feel better, but justifies your actions. Not that you can just put your hand up and go, yeah, it was me, nothing to do with anybody else, it was just me. So I put it down to that thing is sometimes it just makes you feel sorry or unhappy about something you did, or on the flip side of it, you were unable to do.
Yes, now you're broadening the whole scope here. Of course, it's wonderful to talk about regret per se, but let's bring the focus back to the exes that we have in our life and tattoos. Now, the thing is, they both kind of mark you, don't they? Now, when you talk about regret the way that you just did, you're talking about focusing your perception, your mind, not to look at it and to remember it and think, oh, man, I regret doing that, and because it didn't work out the way that I did, or rather the way that I wanted it to. Now, if you have something that is bigger than, say, a situation or a decision that you made that you regret, whereas you have somebody who's a living human who you've had a deep relationship with, who suddenly becomes an ex, there could be an ongoing consequences because you may have had children with them. You could have bought a house with them. So even though you've got a separation, then you still have to live with the consequences because you were one time joined with that person. That's what I'm talking about. So there's big consequences here. And the other thing is, it's the same with the tattoo. Well, see, there's another side to it, Lee. If you have an ex in your life that still is a hangover into the current life and you start a new relationship, the new relationship is likely to say to you, well, what was your past? Why is that person still coming into our situation? It's you and me now. But this third person keeps coming in and we have to deal with it. There's a little scenario there, a whole dynamic that you have to deal with. And it's the same with a tattoo. Sometimes a tattoo is the name of your ex. And if you have a new person that comes into your life, that new person might say, oh, who's Stanley? Let's pick some names.
Well,
who's Cynthia?
I understand what you're saying, and this is why I've gone the other way, because I was very young when I got married. So I was 21. So I've been married ever since. So my exes up till then were very few.
Wait a minute. You said exes, plural, before the age of 21.
Okay.
Were you an active boy?
Yeah, but not like a relationship like one obviously was with children, but that was very early on, and I sort of took it. I didn't want to take that as a negative emotion of regret because I love my children. Okay, just because I think I made a mistake and how we got together wasn't exactly fantastic, I don't regret it per se. I feel sad and I feel disappointed about the relationship, but I still think it's a negative emotion, regret. Now, none of that has ever filtered in or come across to my marriage since then. So that's been a blessing. So I'm very happy about that. So I look at regret very differently. Tattoos, like you were just saying, very interesting. When I was 18, I haven't got a lot of tattoos. My kids call me the script man because I have my children on one arm and my grandchildren on the other arm. not a lot of people know I've got a tattoo until I take my top off and they go, oh, you've got a swallow on your back. And I've gone, yeah. It's Gemma is in the scroll because they got the swallow holding the scroll. Now, the story behind that was I had a brother-in-law that was covered with tattoos and he went down there and he goes, oh, you get one done, Lee. And I've gone, oh, I'm not really that type. And he goes, look, have that done. So I go, oh, okay. And then the tattoo artist said, oh, what name do you want put in the scroll? And I went, nobody. And he goes, oh, okay, I've never done that before. And I said, well, no, I don't want to because look at my brother-in-law. He's had the same and he's had girlfriends and now he's blacked them out. So I don't want to put that in my scroll in my back and then later on go black. When I met my wife, you know what the first thing that she did?
Put my name in there.
Yeah, because I said to her, I'm only going to have my wife's name put in there. Then I'm 50% sure that I won't black it out. So anyway, it happened and her name was etched into that scroll and has been there ever since.
Spelling right?
He did. He got it right. Gemma with a G, not a J. The other tattoo that I was going to get, which I really am happy that I didn't. Now, I was into MotoGP, as you know, so I love watching the MotoGP. MotoGP is motorcycle racing, 1,000 cc's. I've been to Phillip Island a few times. I love the sport. Now, I was thinking one day of having a sleeve done with MotoGP insignia, with Valentino Rossi, with Michael Meandering, with all the greats and the titles, a whole sleeve. I thought, I'll design it. It'd be great.
What, from shoulder to wrist?
Yes. I'm glad I didn't because now obviously the people who I was following has retired and they've gone about their own stuff. And I didn't want to be walking around, thankfully, with a sleeve of MotoGP.
And because there's new heroes in the sport, you'd have to put a sleeve on the other arm.
No, I don't. They're not the same as the old days, mate. That's the thing. They're just not the same. They don't have that je ne sais quoi.
Oh, je ne sais quoi.
Yeah, they haven't got that killer instinct. Like,
do you think one of the reasons people put mother in the scroll is to be safe? You can get the tattoo and then you know you get your relationship and you can say, well, she's the love of my life. It's my mum.
Well, I've read stuff on Facebook and so on going, who else? I'm over 50. Who else has not got a tattoo? And I was thinking, gee, yeah. Have you got tattoos?
Well, that'd be telling, Lee.
Oh, I think you have, Molly.
You think?
I think in your left shoulder arm, maybe there's something. Oh, no, he's not showing me. It is interesting to think because 20 years ago, it was full on. You had shows on. I forget what they were called anyway, but everybody was having tattoos. Everybody.
Now, Lee, this is interesting because I'm putting forward, what is the greatest regret? An ex, either that you've lost or one that's in your life that's a pest that you can't get rid of, causes a problem. You have to keep that away from your current, or a tattoo that you regret that's obviously a sentiment or a temporary feeling that you've moved on from and it's a permanent reminder, and sometimes you have to keep that away from your current as well. I'm thinking which one would be the worst. Now, you've just admitted that with exes for you, there's not really a problem.
No.
Now, that's part of the reason.
Thankfully.
Yeah, well, one of the reasons I think that is because, you're a good-natured guy. And if there's any end of a relationship that you're involved in, it was likely to be on good terms or just a natural progression as you grow and go in different directions. So you're quite lucky. So there are some people who have bad tattoos, who have bad exes in their life. They'd rather go out and have 10 other bad tattoos rather than putting up with this person that they just can't get rid of. It goes on and on and on. And like I said, sometimes you're bound to that person because of money, property, family, whatever.
But it's like I look at it sometimes, it's just Sam. So I think we must all suffer from two types of regret. One is the weight of discipline and the other one, pain of regret, where I reckon discipline weighs ounces, where regret weighs a ton.
Yes. And you can let it get to you, can't you?
Oh, this is what I said at the beginning. It's a negative emotion, so it's not something that should really scar you or make you wake up in the morning full of regret. I think it's a choice that you either take it or leave it. It's like I said before, marriage is hard, divorce is hard, pick your hard. And I think that with regret to me, it's an emotion that I'm thinking, it doesn't play a pivotal role in who I am and where I'm going. Of course, I can say I wish I regretted not going to college or high school, whatever. I regret that I didn't buy Bitcoin when my son told me to buy it when it was $100. All that sort of thing. The if, buts and maybes, as I call it. I put that in with the same bag. But there are people that do find regret debilitating.
Yeah, choose them up and they focus on them. And you have to let it go because you can't change the past. You have to live with the consequences of your decision. It's as simple as that.
See, with tattoos, you can get them removed now.
Well, you can. Well, you mentioned the word scars. We're talking about these two dynamics that can cause you to have a change of mind. Emotional, when you have X's in your life, it's to do with emotions. So the scar there could be an emotional scar, the scar tissue that they talk about that's inside, that remains there. And you have to live with that. And then, of course, if you have a tattoo and you have that removed with laser treatment, I believe it is, pops out little bubbles, it leaves a scar as well.
Yeah, it affects the skin, but it's not like the old days where you tried to remove it and it just wouldn't work. Now the technology is far outgrown that. And it's quite phenomenal. But what happens is, okay, it's like everything else. You make space and you fill it. So you've got a tattoo on your forearm, you think, I'll get rid of it. And you think, oh, actually, that's prime real estate. I think I'll put another one there.
Prime real estate. Why don't you just let the hairs grow back?
I don't know how popular it is today with people getting tattooed. I don't think it's the same as it was even 5 years ago.
Oh, I think it's still pretty full on. You see them everywhere. Some of them, oh, God, really? I think you should have put a bit more thought into that one. It's not good. And then, of course, a few years back, the trend was to have them on the neck.
Oh, no.
I have a rule that you shouldn't have them below the elbow. But, the first time I ever saw this was in Hong Kong. There was a colleague over there, young Chinese-American girl, and she had tattoos all over her arm, and they really looked good. I was quite shocked because she was a very intelligent, well-educated woman. She looked really good, very attractive, dressed well, held herself well, had a nice style, and she had these tattoos. And I looked at them, but I have to say she really got it right. They really suited it, looked good. But some of the others, there's far too many, Lee, because you get ink fever. You get tattooed and you kind of like it. You kind of enjoy the process, that pain, that needle going in, and then kind of think, oh, well, yeah, I have got space. I will put something else on there. But that's another mistake, isn't it?
Well, it is. Now, I know a guy named Sam Clark, and he is down in Avalon in Sydney. Check out his Insta and his Facebook, Sam Clark Tattoos. He's an incredible artist. I've shown you before, the colours, the designs are exquisite. He does whole back tattoos. He did my son's back. Amazing. And I remember when my daughter got married, Sam's wife, Polly, was her bridesmaid, and he caught my eye when we was at the reception looking at his wife's legs. And I said, oh, sorry, Sam. Yes, your wife's legs are beautiful, but I'm really looking at the tattoos. They're just incredible. And he goes, yeah. Right, Lee. But I was Sam, 100%. And I hope to get Sam on, hopefully in the next month or so, and have a chat with him about it. So that'd be interesting.
Actually, if I could have a little self-plug here, I co-authored a book with a very well-known underground cult surf figure called Vladimir Boris Waxanov. Mm-hmm. And the book that we co-authored is called The Wayward Surfer. And there's a short story in there about a surfer in New Zealand who was extremely hairy. One of those guys has got hairs all over his chest, all over his back. And he wanted to be tattooed because it's a very New Zealand thing to be tattooed. Because a flow on into the Pākehās, the white guys from the Maoris. Tattooists would not decorate him because he was too hairy. And he was really offended, so he sued them. This is a little short story in the book. Story ends that it was an ongoing case.
Right.
But I might read it when I go next time when I read one of Vladimir's short stories.
But that's coming up soon.
Yes, on Surftown, on the other podcast we do.
Here you go, quick plug for you again. You had a guest in yesterday.
Yes, called Stuart Campbell from Campbell Design Surfboards. Very innovative in his ideas about strengthening shortboards. And he looks like he's on the verge of some technological breakthrough that's going to make the performance of short surfboards even better than they are now.
Isn't it exciting, eh?
It is exciting because, the guys who surf shortboards really well, if you have a look at their boards, they're refined so much. And you just looking at the boards that the pros surf is like looking at a race car for you as a guy who loves cars and bikes. And these boards are so tuned, but they're flimsy in the or fragile, and they're easy to break because modern surfing today is very vertical. They do radical moves and they put a lot of pressure on the boards. Even in the turns, the way they put the board into the wave, put their weight onto it to project it ahead. And Stewart's design is a technological breakthrough that puts this strip of, I forget the name of what he called it, in the middle of the board and strengthens the whole thing.
Well, if anybody listening is interested in that, Surftown podcast with Keith Mully McMullen will be out next week, Monday, Tuesday maybe. Have a listen. As Keith was saying, very interesting man. I saw him yesterday, I had a chat with him, and I just caught the end of the podcast and he was talking about this and it pricked my ears for sure. So Surftown. Now, Keith, getting back to regret. I was looking online about regret because I was wondering what people regret the most.
Oh, this would be interesting.
They had a survey and 19.3% regretted romance.
Oh.
So that could be the ex, as you were saying. 16.9 is family. Regret the family.
No, what, regret having them or decisions that
It doesn't say. It just says here, found the most commonly reported regrets involved romance, family, education, career, finance, and parenting. That is what they're saying is the highest categories that people regret.
Yeah, that all makes sense. I know families can be a dynamic little module of wrong decision. Parents regret not putting enough time in with their kids or favouring one kid or doing this or doing that or not doing that to look after their partner or their parents or whatever. Families can be full of regrets. You know, I've come to the conclusion that there's not that many families that have got everything perfectly right. There's a lot of things in most family that we don't know about that are not good because it's behind closed doors. Who wants to go, like we walk around in Australia and we greet each other by saying, "G'day, mate, how you going?" Nobody says, "Oh, mate, I'm feeling like shit. The missus is treating me really bad," or "I've been neglecting the wife and she's been trying to speak to me about my behaviour and, I'm feeling guilty." Who's going to say that?
Oh, in the UK, because we did a podcast before and I remember telling you about this person that you do not say hi to anybody. You don't say hello because if you do, you open up that door. And that's what it is in the UK. So you don't ask them how you going.
How do you greet them?
Well, you don't. You just walk past them, or you say morning, or if nothing at all. It's just
hello.
Yeah, hello, and they go, "Oh, hello." But if you ever say to them, "Hey, how are you?" then that's it, and you go, "Oh no, here we go." Why did I say that? Now I've just got the other end of what the other regrets are through living to dying. So the number one, which you probably would know anyway, it said, "I wish I had the courage to live a life true to myself and not the life others expected of me." I mean, it's so true when you think about it, and you can only get to that end of your life to obviously realise it. It's like a cruel little twist. Oh, I wish I'd have spent more time in the office. Or it's all this, like the regret. What does it do to you?
Chews you up.
It chews you up. Does it make it better? No. Does it take away from you? Absolutely. Is it a negative or positive emotion? It's a negative emotion. So why use it? Why allow it? And it said, "I wish I had the courage to express my feelings." Now, that's a tough one.
Yeah, it is, because in doing so, you can do damage in a relationship.
And I wish I'd stayed in touch with my friends. And finally, which is a doozy, I wish I'd let myself be happier.
Oh, it's interesting. You know what is also interesting in that list? Nothing to do with sex. Because I know a bloke and his biggest regrets, I know this guy and his biggest regret is all the sexual opportunities that he had that he didn't take. And I know he was quite active, so he had his fill, if you want to talk quite frankly. But that's his biggest regrets in life. He says it annoys me. How about that guy's focus and values in life? And I'm sure he wouldn't be the only one.
There'd be a lot of people that would. And I would ask you, anybody who's listening to this that would like to have their comment, please send it to don'tgetmestarted2024@gmail.com, all lowercase. Let us know. Let us know your thoughts on it. Do you think it's a positive emotion, negative emotion? Tell me your regrets. I think it's good that you can sit down, have that quiet 5 moments and think about it. I mean, are you unhappy? Do you want to be happier? Do you want to spend more time with your friends instead of on your own? It's a choice. I think it's a choice. I think you can be happy or you just don't want to be happy.
Yeah, well, going back to this guy who tells me his regrets about missed sexual opportunities. He's even counted them. There was 12. Now, the reason it's not on your list is because people don't tell you the truth about sex. So
Wow.
you're opening up for people to write in a comment. You don't have to put your name there. So you can beat 12. Let us know.
Yeah, well, like
whatever else.
he's got a deep regret, like a profound and intense feeling of sadness, sorrow, or remorse, often stemming from a mistake, a loss, a situation that could have been different, implying a significant emotional impact and a strong wish that things had turned out otherwise. It's exhausting, Mully.
It is exhausting, and it's a waste of time.
It is a waste of time. Unlike these podcasts, which we could go on and on and on, and I love the subjects what we've been doing lately. And if you agree, let us know. But Mully, as always, and as I regret saying this, no, I don't. I'm joking. I'll leave you the last word.
Lee, thank you very much. I always think you're very gracious to give me the last word. It's been really good talking with you again today. Seems like it's been ages since we've been here. It's a good topic. I love it, the fact that we take these deep subjects that we're not qualified to talk about and we have a go at it anyway and enjoy ourselves along the way. So it's been a pleasure again, mate, to sit here and podcast with you. And to all our faithful listeners out there, God bless you all. Have a great Easter and be safe and do what you want to do, however you want to do it. And as long as you don't violate and you're kind to each other. So until then, like, share, etc. And we'll see you next time. Hooroo.